Buzz Aldrin. I was honored to be a member of the first crew to set foot on the moon in 1969. My colleagues on that historic Apollo 11 mission, Neil Armstrong, Mike Collins, and I, represented a challenge set in motion by President John F. Kennedy.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win.
Just a short 8 years after President Kennedy's call to reach for the moon, Neil and I were standing here on the moon. A dream of centuries transformed into reality. But I want to be remembered for more than just kicking up moon dust. I want my legacy to include laying the groundwork for a permanent human settlement on Mars. And I have a plan. That plan is called Cycling Pathways to Mars.
Cycling Pathways to Mars is more than a single mission. It's a permanent transportation system to build and sustain a human colony on Mars. Using planetary orbits and resources from the moon, we're able to power 2 spacecraft in continual cycles to Mars and back. The carefully designed flight path gives us an unprecedented number of trips to Mars in the most efficient way possible. But let's go step by step and look at what powers this complex chain of activity. And for that, we must start back where our journey began, the moon.
One of the keys to sending humans to Mars is acquiring the rocket fuel we need from the surface of the moon. Within permanently shadowed craters on the moon is a mother lode of ice that can be turned into rocket fuel. We will also need to use the moon as a place where we can telerobotically assemble similar habitation modules and test the systems we will use on Mars.
If traveling to the moon were like crossing a small lake, traveling to Mars would be like crossing a vast ocean. While it took my colleagues and I 3.5 days to travel to the moon, it will take 6 months to travel to Mars. To make this incredible journey, I've designed 2 long-duration spacecraft to withstand the many rigors of the trip while remaining extremely efficient. I call these spacecraft cyclers.
Landers from the Earth will join up with these cyclers to take international cruise on the 6-month journey to Mars. This will allow the future settlers of Mars to travel safely, shielded from cosmic radiation.
Just as we used our moon as a stepping stone for our departure, we'll use Mars's moon as a stepping stone to our arrival. Before reaching the surface, the crew will occupy the Martian moon Phobos. There, they will spend 2 years remotely controlling the assembly of habitats, greenhouses, and other facilities. When the crew and mission control are satisfied everything works properly, they will make their final descent to the surface. What once seemed like a dream will become a reality. The first human life on Mars.
On the surface of Mars, the first inhabitants will learn to live off the land. They will grow food and build the next generation of housing structures using local Martian resources. And they will conduct far-reaching research seeking answers to many questions. What is the future of Earth? Is there other life in the universe? Can humanity become a multi-planetary species? These questions can only be answered by scientists, engineers, architects, and artisans who will not only survive, but thrive on the surface of Mars.
Just as President Kennedy said, we choose to go to the moon, now we must choose to go to Mars. For we may know humanity's place in the galaxy today, but not tomorrow. The fundamentals of cycling pathways to Mars will serve as a blueprint for sustainable, efficient, interplanetary travel, for it's in our nature to explore the bounds of space, push humanity's limits, and make the impossible possible.
So let's visualize the coming of tomorrow. Grab hold of the future and make it ours.